In this film, we're going to be looking at the effect of technological advances on the future workforce, and in particular, how the autonomous vehicles might revolutionise the taxi industry.
But first, I think we need to define what we mean by autonomous vehicles. Simply put, an autonomous car is a computer-controlled car. So basically, no human is needed to drive it. And here's some facts.
Autonomous vehicles have four main parts to it. First is a LiDAR, which is a rotating sensor that generates a three-dimensional map of the car's surroundings. Next is a video camera. This detects traffic lights and moving obstacles such as bikes and pedestrians. The position estimator measures small movements made by the car in order to accurately locate its position on the map. Finally, the radar that determines the position of distant objects in order to avoid obstacles. All of these devices enable the autonomous vehicle to be able to safely drive passengers without a driver.
To demonstrate what effects do autonomous cars have on the taxi industry, here's Jack to tell us more.
I have heard a tiny bit in the media, and obviously it's very worrying times to be a taxi driver. The usual customer is looking for the cheapest and quickest way to get from their current location to their destination that they want. So if that means that they can pay cheaper because they don't have to pay the taxi driver, which would be me, which is minimum wage.
Yeah.
It's almost knocking off the price by however amount. So it is very worrying. I'm not sure. Obviously, I did have a job before this. I was a shelf stacker in Tesco's, and then I saw an opportunity to become a taxi driver and become self-employed. It was a massive opportunity to work my own hours, but there's not that much jobs going on, so it would take a lot of time, and I don't have that amount of time at the moment.
As well as the potential for a significant impact on the future workforce in the taxi industry, highlighted by Jack, there are also many other negatives of the autonomous vehicle. But before we get stuck into these criticisms, we asked Charlie, a regular user of taxis, what his views were on the concept.
If these driverless cars are cheaper, more energy efficient and get you from A to B faster, then I suppose I would compromise my safety a bit. But I'm sure technology nowadays, obviously a lot more work to be done, but all the sensors and all that and road mapping, all that technology makes it, if it makes it safe and these companies say it is safe, then I would trust these until I hear of an accident. But again, if it's cheaper and it's faster, then yeah, I'd do that.
Charlie highlights some potential benefits of the use of autonomous vehicles in the future, providing they deliver sufficient safety, looking at the idea of faster journeys, more efficient travel and a cheaper service. Yet the reality is, besides the effect on the future workforce and the current advancements in technology that Charlie begins to discuss, autonomous vehicles lack and will lack for years to come the sufficient safety standards needed to provide a driverless journey. The cars are not able to provide high levels of safety in all weather conditions. In fact, heavy rain can do serious damage to the laser sensor mounted on the car's roof, calling into question what role the driver might have to play in the event of the technology failing. If road technology fails, such as traffic signals that the cars rely on to operate, the technology will simply not work. In the event of an accident, for example, where a police officer is directing traffic, the cars will be unable to interpret human signals. The real question is, will we be able to trust autonomous vehicles with our lives? Safety of these vehicles, or lack of, is a significant issue. One fault in the technology will undoubtedly lead to serious injury, if not the loss of life, as seen with the following clip of Volvo testing their driverless braking system, clearly demonstrating the issue. So, to conclude, the balance of evidence would suggest that in the near future, the world is not ready for autonomous vehicles, both in terms of the technology available within the vehicles and the technology on the roads, meaning that the workforce in the taxi industry will not be imminently affected. The problem for this workforce lies when we look maybe 10 or 20 years into the future, when companies such as Google and Volvo will have undoubtedly mastered the technology, creating a usable, efficient and most importantly, safe vehicle. Consequently, current taxi drivers will either have to look for an alternative career or find a unique selling point over the autonomous vehicle. The reality is, even if autonomous vehicles take over the industry in the future, the current workforce could still drive cars and provide specialised services offering experiences that cannot be provided by a robot. They have copious amounts of knowledge about roads that could potentially be used in the development of navigation apps. In underdeveloped countries, rickshaws and traditional taxis will remain the popular option as autonomous vehicles are too expensive and the roads are underdeveloped. But even in developed countries, former drivers can make use of traditional transport such as the rickshaw as a unique selling point against a driverless car. So now it's clear. For the time being and over the next couple of years, taxi drivers have little to worry about. Yet one day, certainly by 2025, we believe that autonomous vehicles will take over in the industry, and this is when the workforce will seriously be impacted. Thank you for watching.